All right, welcome to The Explainer. Look, today we're doing more than just giving you a few tips. We are literally decoding the entire hidden playbook that separates the absolute elite Call of Duty mobile players from, well, everyone else.
I mean, have you ever wondered how these pro players just win so consistently? You know that feeling, right? You hit this wall, you just keep getting outplayed, and it feels like the top players are living 5 seconds in the future. You've grinded your aim, but you're just not climbing. So what's their secret? What gives?
Well, here's the first thing you absolutely have to get. It's not just about having better aim. I mean, don't get me wrong, mechanical skill is important. But at the highest levels, it is not the deciding factor. The real difference, the real gap, it's not on the thumbs. It's all in the brain.
What these pros have is a complete strategic mindset. It's like they're operating from a hidden playbook. It's this whole framework for thinking, for seeing, and for acting that lets them make the right call consistently under insane pressure. And guess what? Today, we're tearing that playbook wide open for you.
Okay, Section 1. Think like a pro. Let's dive right into the first part of this playbook, because this is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
So, what is this elite mindset? It really means shifting your entire focus. You stop just reacting to what's happening on your screen, and you start proactively controlling the game. It's all about learning from every single gunfight, predicting what your opponent is going to do next, and making those smart, calculated tactical choices instead of just relying on reflexes.
And we can actually break this whole mindset down into 3 core pillars. First up is something called radical self-critique. Then there's the skill of predictive play, thinking a few moves ahead. And finally, you have to master what the pros call controlled aggression.
Okay, so what does radical self-critique look like in action? Well, it's simple, really. Instead of immediately blaming your teammates, we've all done it, the first question a pro asks is, why did I die? What could I have done differently? The absolute top players will even record their own gameplay and review their mistakes. It's about taking ownership, and that's a total game changer.
And all of this really leads into that third pillar, which this quote from pro player COD Narco just sums up perfectly. Play smart, not hard. That is the absolute essence of controlled aggression. It's not about mindlessly rushing into every single fight. It's about knowing exactly when to push, when to hold back and lock down an angle, and really how to dictate the entire pace of the fight.
Okay, next up, Section 2, see the unseen. Now we're going to build on that pro mindset with the second part of the playbook. The pros have a name for this. They call it game sense, and it's basically the ability to process all this information that most players just completely ignore. And here is maybe one of the biggest, most fundamental differences between an average player and a great one. Seriously. Without headphones, you're not just half blind. You're playing completely deaf. With a good pair, you can hear everything. Footsteps creeping around a corner, the tiny click of a reload, even an operator's skill activating. These audio cues literally transform you from a reactive player into a predictive one.
But it goes beyond just audio. Pros are constantly, and I mean constantly, scanning their minimap. They look for enemies where their teammates aren't. They live on the sides of the map, rotating around the edges to flank and control the flow. They avoid that middle ground, that chaotic hell where you just go to die, and they are always fighting from cover. All right, this next one is a huge one. You have got to stop announcing your attacks. It is a massive mistake that so many players make, basically just screaming at the enemy exactly where to aim. Let's look at a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Just look at this comparison right here. The amateur pushes a room by, what? Tossing a grenade in first. And what have they just done? They've put up a giant neon sign that says, hey, I'm right here and I'm coming in. The pro, on the other hand, uses their game sense. They anticipate where the enemy probably is. They get into position quietly and they just hold the angle, waiting for that player to walk right into their crosshairs. It's an easy kill. So, Section 3, execute flawlessly. Okay, so now you're thinking and seeing the game like a pro. Let's get to the final piece of the playbook, flawless execution. This is where all that new mindset and awareness turns into real action.
Here's something pros understand that many others don't. They don't just have one favorite gun. They have the right tool for the job every time. I mean, take a look. On a big open map with long sight lines like Crossfire, you absolutely need an AR or a sniper. But on a tiny, chaotic map like Nuketown, a fast-firing SMG or a shotgun is what's going to win you those up-close and personal fights. Adapting your loadout isn't just a good idea. It's non-negotiable.
And then there's movement. Movement is how pros literally survive fights they have no business winning. You've seen it techniques like bunny hopping out of a slide or slide peeking and jump peeking around corners. All of these have one single purpose, to completely mess up the enemy's aim. While they're struggling to even track you, you're just landing easy, clean shots.
You want to know the real secret to pro-level aim? It's that the aim starts before they even see an enemy. This is called centering, or crosshair placement. It just means you are always keeping your crosshair placed where an enemy is likely to appear, usually right at head level. It sounds simple, but this one habit drastically cuts down your reaction time. You end up winning gunfights before they've even really started.
Okay, Section 4, build your playbook. So look, it's so important to get that these aren't just a bunch of random tips. They are all interlocking parts of one single powerful system. Let's recap how you can build your very own playbook.
So let's put it all together, the entire pro player framework. Pillar 1, you think like a pro. That means adopting that elite mindset of self-critique and smart, controlled aggression. That thinking that enables Pillar 2, you see the unseen. You develop superior game sense and map awareness. And finally, that awareness allows you to hit Pillar 3, you execute flawlessly, using the right loadouts and advanced mechanics to seal the deal.
So there you have it. You now have the exact blueprint, the playbook that top players use to absolutely dominate their matches. See, it's not magic, it's just a strategy. So the only question left is what's your next move?